So I think we're in a critical moment in the next 2 weeks in South Africa where there's going to have to be a shift from the left-hand side of the slide, which is about mitigation, which is really about health and security. So we focused on social distancing, we then had the lockdown, we then had testing, track and trace, and we're busy scaling that up. But the focus is going to have to shift from what's on the left to what's on the right, which is much more about containment than mitigation. Now, everyone I'm talking to is obsessed with the need for PPE, personal protective equipment, for the need for testing, and that's understandable. But the reality is that the testing is never going to be of the scale that it will cover our entire society. It can only ever be an early warning of where the virus is. So the alternative to that, what we're seeing in South Korea, beginning in Taiwan, in China, is a much broader societal approach to hygiene for containment. So we're seeing entry point sanitizers, such as the ones on the top on the right, where you walk through, foot sanitizer, passing through these entry points into shopping centers, into factories, into public transport, the sanitization of transport infrastructure and facilities, really sanitizing public space and systems like the transport system, as well as schools at the individual hygiene level. Now, to do that, there's going to have to be a shift from PPE with testing to a much broader set of societal protocols. The difficulty in South Africa is the scale of that need. If we look at the overall South African population, top right, 58 million people, only 7 million in the green of those people are formally employed. So if we opened up the economy and we opened up 2 million, 3 million at a time, and we put in protocols for the businesses operating, that's really a fraction of the population. What we would have to deal with is the other 11 million people of working age that are unemployed in the orange, and we would need a broad societal protocol for that 11 million people. We'd also have to think about what we do with the underlying 10 or so million who are in school, preschool, or partially in school, further education, etc., and then how we deal with what I've called a health quarantine protocol for the elderly. So a combination of formal sector, informal sector, school, and elderly measures, really a different protocol for each of those. Now, to do that would require a massive effort from the side of government, all the government departments on the right, working with the private sector to cope with what we would then see as a new normal. While we deal with the disease burden and the health aspects, the question we should be asking is, what does a functional society look like that has the masks and the sanitizer at key points in the public environment, whether in the transport sector, the education system, the health system? Really, what are those new societal behaviors and how do we do that at scale? The reason I'm making this is I don't know if we've asked ourselves where the 25 million masks are going to come from, where the facilities are going to be that the elderly will be quarantined to protect their health. That seems to me to be bigger than something government can do. It would require a whole of society approach.